Okay, our next topic is to discuss nature of management. Okay, nature of management is basically divided in our what kind of management we are doing, or what is it. Is it management as an art, or management as a science, or management as a profession? We have to discuss all thing in a detail. Let's begin with management as an art. Very important topic, guys. It comes in exam by a direct question, that is management an art or not? How you can prove it is an art? So let's understand this. Before understanding this, let me discuss what do you mean by art. What is art? Art is anything which can be performed by some person, or I can say they have talent, like talent for doing something, like they can dance, they can speak, they can sing. So any person who can do a specific task with his or her talent and experience is generally used as a art. Why management needs to be an art, and why we consider what are the basic features of an art? That's why first of all we will discuss what are the basic features of art. What is art? Okay. Thereafter we will discuss the feature is related to management or not, or either that feature is related to management, then how it will be directly communicated with the management. So let's begin. First of all, see the definition. Art refers to skillful and personal application of existing knowledge to achieve desired results. It can be acquired through study, observations and experience. As in, whoever dances the best, whoever sings the best, he or she needs an experience to do best. They don't do at a one time the best services. So as a management is also a part of art. How? Let's see. First of all, art is an existence of theoretical knowledge. How? Generally we think art is only depends upon the theoretical knowledge, like what we get or what we practice or what we learn is all about the theoretical knowledge only. But not only this required, due to art you have to learn about basic courses, basic professional skills, as well as you have to experience with the on regular basis. So what it is, every art systematic and organized study material should be available compulsorily to acquire theoretical knowledge. In short, I must say, in case of, for example, let's say in case of dancing or in case of singing, you must have knowledge of 7 notes, whatever they are using, like what is Saregama Padanisa and all that. You have to learn about what are the notes, but whenever these notes makes a composition, it will be the experience who tells, who uses the notes as in practice. Let's say this use in management, how this concept is used in management, existence of theoretical knowledge. In case of management also, you need to understand what are the people doing. It also offers you study courses. It also offers you how to learn about the pupil, how to learn about the work, how you can understand. They all come with your experiences as well as their theoretical knowledges. Okay. Next point, personalized application. What is personalized application here depends. It depends that art is generally vary from person to person. For example, there are 2 dancers or 2 singers. They all are doing their work, having the special things in that, special talent in that. For example, let's say example of our singers. I'll take first example is I can take Arijit Singh, and second example I can take or Sukhwinder Singh. So both are singers, both are no doubt good singers, but they both have different genres, different experiences, different practices. They both need different talent. They both are able to different fan following. No, generally no one is able to hear only a single person. There are multiple our favorites. Same like that. There are multiple dancers, and all dancers have vary with their talents and experiences. It all belongs to personalized application. It is directly related to management. How? If a manager was senior or junior or a new person or an experienced person, he is an experience with the how the things getting done, how my plans failed. He is experienced about if my plan A fail, then how to move into plan B. If he is experienced, then he will get to know that how to work and how to organize my plan. But if a fresher manager was come, then we are unable to follow our plans and targets. Okay, get it? Now next is based on practice and creativity. Yeah, this is very most important, as in due to the purpose of art, we don't only need the theoretical knowledge, as I already said, we always need a practice as well as experiments as well as experience also in this field to become a perfect. Same thing applies on management also, that management also needs an expert knowledge, as in study about the detailed courses, as well as he or she also have to go through with the past failures as well as success, as in what kind of work can go through him failure as well as what kind of work it helps him to give success. Art involves the creative practice of existing theoretical knowledge. So these all are the features which can be presented as management as an art. Next is our management as a science. What is science all about? Sir, science is generally, we always talk about the universal rules, theories, which is applicable to the person. It can't be changed, it is fixed, something like that. Whenever we heard about science, we always tell about this. Either science or management is a similar kind of thing? Yes. What are the characteristics of science? The both characteristics of science or management are similar to, are more similar. How? Let's see. Science is a systematized body of knowledge that is based on general truth which can be tested anywhere, anytime. Universal truth that can be tested where? Anywhere, at any time. Features of science are as follows. So, what we heard about the science and what are its features? We will discuss first of all what is science, then its features. Then we will discuss why science and management are directly interrelated. First of all, systematized body of knowledge. While in case of science, any person or any organization who deals with the science, like science experiments or something like that, they have to be need a knowledge particular for that experiment. They have to be associated with an institute which is providing them a knowledge. Things like that management also doing. If any person who doing management, like I am talking about manager, if any manager deals with the experiments and all, he is experienced person and he is dealing with the experiment, what kind of experiment is failure and what kind of experiment is our success, as well as he is all about knowledge about how I can improve my organization, how I can grow my organization. It all depends upon his or her knowledge. That's why management is also a systematized body of knowledge. See, science has a systematized body of knowledge based on principles and experiments. What do you say as a principle? Yeah, management also has some principles to follow. We will discuss in next chapter or second chapter. Principles given by Henry Fayol, F.W. Taylor. These principles are generally accepted as well as universally accepted. Principles based on experiments and observations. The same point again, that in case of science, we need to discuss all principles and experiments simultaneously. We don't do the give up situation. We have to do experiment and experiment and experiment so that our efforts will grow. If in case of I am talking about scientist, then scientists have to do experiment until unless he got an achievement or success. Same like as management, manager has to do efforts and efforts and efforts to improve his organizational goals as well as to improve productivity of organization. Scientific principles are developed through experiments and observations. Whenever you do experiments, you have to observe whether your experiments are successful or not. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about universal validity. Universal validity generally means as scientific rule or scientific formula or scientific experiments are universally applicable. Is it applicable or not? Yes, yes. Their rules and experiments or formulas are universally applicable. Like Newton's third law of motion, it all are about these are universally applicable. Same kind of principles and experiments given in management by their principle like F.W. Taylor and R. Henry Fayol and many more management consultants. These principles are also universally applicable in the world. Okay, so let's read this. Scientific principles have universal validity and application. Management has systematic body of knowledge and its principles are developed over a period of time based on repeated experiments and observations which are universally applicable. You need to mark that word, universally applicable, as well as you are doing repeated experiments. In case of science, we are also doing repeated experiments. So we had discussed two topics, management as an art as well as management as a science, completely related with the management as an art as an science. Okay. But we can say that management is not an pure science or exit science, something like that. It can be a impure science or the truth rules like universally applicable, experimentation, they all are part of management. Same like that, we had to discuss another topic, management as a profession. Before going further, let's discuss what is profession. What do you mean by profession? Profession is anything which can be studied or which can be proved with the help of any degree or which can be given by some educational institutions to prove you that you have some enough knowledge or you have some enough eligible to do some good thing or some big thing. For example, any person who is having a degree holder is generally covers under profession, like chartered accountants, cost and management accountants, lawyers, doctors, engineers, they all come under the work professional. How do you think management and professional is directly related or indirectly related? First, you had to learn about what is profession. Profession means an occupation for which specialized knowledge and skills are required. Skills and knowledge are required. What kind of skills? Specialized knowledge and skills. Specialized knowledge as in you are providing additional knowledge, additional degree, additional certificates just to prove yourself. Okay. Then let's discuss with the features, whether these features are directly related to management or not, we will discuss here. First of all, well defined body of knowledge. Let's discuss with the professional, then we will shift to management. Is well defined body of knowledge. In case of professional field, we have to learn that all kind of professional person have different knowledges, as well as they have proof while achieving their degrees, their certificates, their completion courses, they have proof for that. Like in case you will deal with the chartered accountants, they are officially have knowledge and approved by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Same as if you deal with the lawyers, they are approved with the Bar Council of India. So it's all about the body of knowledge that separate entity will provide them a specified knowledge. All the professions are based on well defined body of knowledge. Okay. Then restricted entry. How does it restricted entry? Generally what happens, for example, let's talk about the CA, Chartered Accountancy course. In case of Chartered Accountancy, there are 3 levels, foundation, intermediate and final. And in case of we have to clear the Chartered Accountancy course, we have to clear all 3 exams. Then only we can be qualified as a Chartered Accountant. Okay. So whenever the student or a person come to do a course of like Chartered Accountancy, then he need to clear all papers. If he or she is unable to clear all papers, then he won't be called as a chartered accountant. It automatically reduces the count of number of persons or students. First of all, how it restricted to the person already as in various students are doing different curriculum and different careers. Those who are opted for CA course, Chartered Accountancy course, are already come under this entry, okay, as in restricted for only Chartered Accountancy. Apart from that only, those who actually qualified the course are only called as Chartered Accountancy. Rest all are somehow doing the efforts, as well as some give up, some drop the CA in future. It all is about restricted entry. So entry in every profession is restricted through examination or through some minimum educational qualification. One more example I can give. In case of MBA or management field, you have to do a basic entrance exam for any colleges. So it also restricted some entry that no one can easily get into the trainings or education as a specified knowledge. Next is professional association. What do you mean by professional association? Generally all the kind of organizations or institutions which are giving the specialized knowledge are working under an association with the government or within any other policy or any other organization, but they are doing work as an association. Like for CA, I already told, they are working under the ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Like that, in case of doctors, we have Medical Council of India. Like in case of lawyers, we have Bar Council of India. So all are the associations which are working simultaneously for their professions. All professions are affiliated to a professional association which regulates entry and frame code of conduct relating to the profession. Yeah, what do you mean by code of conduct? Here it is. What do you mean by code of conduct? Okay, what is code of conduct? Code of conduct is simply the thing which can be defined by an organization or that association or that professional body, that what to do, how to do, and you have to do your work within your limits. You have to set your ethics and goals so that whenever any person tries to move forward that codes, that whatever the ethics they are maintaining to maintain their professional, like for example, in case of doctors, their code of conduct is they have to be available for every patient at every time, anytime, whenever they get a call for any patient, they have to serve. This is the maintainer of professionalism of doctors. So code of conduct is all about what the organization is providing or what the association is providing, some special kind of ethics and rules and regulations for their members. Okay, next is ethical code of conduct. Sorry, ethical code of conduct. Ethical code of conduct is like that you have to serve a proper code so that all the members or all the persons who are associated with that organization or that institution or that particular professional body, they have to follow these codes and ethics, are bound by a code of conduct which guides the behavior of its members. Okay. Next, service motive. What does that mean? Service motive. Do you heard about the service motive? Service motive is generally deals with whether your profession gives services to others or you are doing the job by yourself only, as well as if you are providing services to others, you have to check whether they are doing the work correctly or not, they are doing their best or not, they are doing and achieving their targets on time or not, they are doing work on efficiently as well as efficiently or not. They all come with the service motive. Let's see. The main aim of a professional is to serve its client's interest by rendering dedicated and committed services. One more example I had given this, that for example in case of lawyers, best lawyer, who is the best lawyer will be? One who always saves his customer or client and gives him justice, and the other one who is taking money and charging money and always be a failure. He won't be succeed in court. Who will be the best lawyer? First one, yeah, first one is who was taking the money as well as who was giving him justice everywhere, anywhere, as well as his clients are more than satisfied that he or she will be get be justice. Same as in another example, in case of doctors also, who is best doctor? A doctor who is doing a consultancy charge as well as, but no treatment and no medicines are worked for it, but a doctor who is no doubt taking a consultancy charges or services, professional services are apart from that, but his medicines are worth. These medicines are at a single time you will get a treatment. They are called service motive. That in case of professional course as well as professional services, you have to be qualified as that level that your experience as well as your qualification and knowledge will teach how to serve your clients. But management is not all about, these all are the features of profession. These are not about management. Now we will discuss management is a fully profession or not. First of all, management is not fully profession. It is not directly related with the fully profession. It deals with partial or full-fledged profession. See the word, it deals with the full-fledged or partial profession. It is not a full-fledged profession. What are the features of management where I can say it can be deal with the profession or not? First of all, systematic body of knowledge. Is management required the systematic body of knowledge? Maybe or may not be. Like for your kind of information, for only the doing management or managing the things or MBAs, Master of your Business Administrations, the specified courses are run by some institutes like IIMs, Institute of Indian Management. They are providing you a systematic body of knowledge, are providing specific knowledge regarding management like IIMs. Entry in most of these institutes is usually based on exams. One more thing, IIMs can't get entry for everyone. They took a preparatory exam, entrance exam, which is called CLAT, which can be given by some minimum students, as well as those students are only go through to IIM only when they can clear the CLAT exam with a good percentage. So they already restricted their entry. Yeah. As well as another point is restriction entry on persons. Is management already needs a restriction? No. There is no compulsion to restriction about what? That there is no restriction on age of any person, caste of any person, designation of any person, as in a company may find its manager or may give its role of manager to any person, any gender, any age. For example, a 19 years of a boy he can be a manager of a company. If he has skills, knowledge and talent, he can be a manager of a company. Okay, like we can talk about the earlier youth youngsters who are doing this kind of stuff or management or related with the management stuff. One of our most listened name, we are very useful to it, that is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the entrepreneur who became entrepreneur at the age of 16. Okay, so while he was at the age of 16, he started his company and then he is able to do work efficiently and effectively, as well as he is managing his organization. Okay, so no manager is required to have any specific degree, but professional knowledge and training is considered to be a desirable qualification in any organization. Means generally no manager is required to take a qualification, degree, designation or something like that. But whenever we are qualified in a specified institute, then it is a great advantage to us to get a good company as well as to serve our company best. Next, we talk about the associations for profession. Some associations have to be registered, worked. Same like that for management also. Several associations like AIMA, All India Management Association, also sets a code of conduct for managers and management level. But this is also not the compulsory part. This is also optional. You don't need to be a part of this AIMA association, but if you are going to be part of AIMA, then you have to follow all its code of conduct. But if you are not going to be a part of AIMA, then it's up to you whether to follow their rules and regulations or not. Okay, thank you.